The galactic archives are vast, ancient, and eternal, a repository of knowledge that stretches back millennia. To most civilizations in the galaxy, it is the ultimate source of truth, a beacon of understanding in an otherwise chaotic universe. The archivist, a meticulous being of crystalline intellect, had seen countless entries pass through its hands, data on supernovae, extinct species, and the evolution of countless worlds. But today it had stumbled upon something peculiar, something that seemed out of place. The entry was labeled Earth, category biological weapons. A sense of curiosity, rare for one whose existence revolved around facts, sparked within the archivist. Earth? A Category 3 planet, situated on the outer edges of an insignificant arm of the Milky Way. Its inhabitants, humans, were noted for their unpredictability, but this classification was unique. Biological weapons? Surely, this was a clerical error. With a calculated movement, the archivist activated the entry. The first image was of a wolf, its golden eyes gleaming, teeth bared in a predatory snarl. A video file followed, a pack of these creatures systematically isolating and taking down prey much larger than themselves. The archivist noted their coordination, their unspoken communication. They moved as one, adapting to each other's movements instinctively. The file went on to describe how humans had coexisted with these animals, forging a bond that transformed wolves into loyal companions, dogs. The archivist marveled at this. A species capable of domestication and partnership with such efficient hunters? It was unheard of. The next entry highlighted a far smaller creature, the honey badger. A report from an exploratory mission described an alien research team encountering this seemingly harmless creature. The report turned chaotic as the honey badger, unfazed by advanced containment measures, tore through equipment, fended off tranquilizing agents, and escaped unscathed. Small size, the report noted, but unmatched ferocity. Highly resistant to venom. Possible bioengineered unit. Then came an image of the cockroach, a small and unassuming insect. At first glance, it seemed harmless, even irrelevant. But deeper analysis revealed its true nature. It was virtually indestructible, capable of surviving conditions that would annihilate most forms of life. Radiation, dehydration, starvation, none of it posed a significant threat. The archivist noted the implications. Resilience on this level could outlast even the most catastrophic interstellar events. It wasn't just their physical capabilities that drew attention. The file contained multiple accounts of how humans had leveraged these creatures in innovative ways. The archivist paused at the entry for war elephants, massive terrestrial creatures used in ancient human conflicts. These beasts, with their immense size and strength, had been utilized as living tanks, striking fear into enemy lines. The concept was baffling. To weaponize such a creature while maintaining control was unheard of in galactic history. Further entries detailed falcons trained for precision strikes, dolphins used for underwater reconnaissance, and even humble pigeons employed to deliver critical messages during human wars. The archivist was beginning to see a pattern. Earth's creatures weren't just dangerous because of their inherent traits. They became exponentially more effective when guided by human hands. The archivist paused, its crystalline mind processing this revelation. Earth's wildlife wasn't just an anomaly. It was a phenomenon. While most advanced civilizations relied on technology, humans had cultivated an ability to adapt their natural environment to suit their needs. It wasn't brute strength or technological superiority that made them unique. It was their ingenuity. The final entry in the section was a holographic recording. It depicted a human farmer tending to livestock, accompanied by a sheepdog. The dog moved with purpose, herding sheep with precision that no advanced drone could replicate. The archivist studied the human and the dog, noting the bond between them. This wasn't control born of dominance, it was a partnership, a mutual understanding. The archivist leaned back, its crystalline form shimmering faintly in thought. Earth's creatures weren't merely biological assets. They were extensions of humanity itself. The file ended with a simple note: observation inconclusive. Further study required. For the first time in centuries, The archivist felt a twinge of something it couldn't quite categorize. Was it admiration? Fear? Whatever it was, one thing was clear. Earth and its inhabitants were far more formidable than they appeared. The alien expedition to Earth began with confidence. The scout team, composed of highly advanced beings, viewed the mission as a simple reconnaissance operation. Earth was catalogued as a biologically active world, but the notion of its life forms posing any significant threat was laughable. Armed with superior technology and protective equipment, the team descended into one of Earth's dense forests, eager to gather specimens and data. Their first encounter seemed almost trivial. A large, furry creature, later identified as a bear, emerged from the undergrowth. The team's scanners labeled it as a mid-tier predator, its strength notable but hardly a concern. One alien moved closer, extending a drone for a closer analysis. The bear, unamused by the intrusion, roared and charged. The drone shattered in an instant, and the team scrambled as the creature's massive claws tore through their equipment. A tranquilizing field, which had subdued creatures on countless worlds, failed completely. The bear eventually wandered off, leaving the aliens shaken and their pride in tatters. Determined to regain control of the mission, they ventured deeper into the forest. This time, they encountered a much smaller opponent: ants. The insects swarmed around the team, seemingly harmless at first. But within minutes, they had infiltrated equipment, short-circuited vital systems, and caused utter chaos. The aliens attempted to retreat, but the ants continued their relentless assault, biting exposed surfaces and dismantling small devices with terrifying efficiency. A single report filed during the chaos read, "Collective behavior. Minimal individual threat. Overwhelming in numbers. Impossible to contain." By now, the expedition's confidence had given way to unease, but they pressed on, determined to secure a significant specimen. Their scanners detected a large reptilian form basking near a water source. A Komodo dragon. It seemed slow, almost lethargic, and the team prepared to capture it with minimal effort. But when approached, the creature lunged with surprising speed, its bite leaving one alien incapacitated. They soon discovered the venom's devastating effects, which spread through the victim's system and rendered their advanced medical technology useless. The mission log recorded this as unexpected biochemical weaponry. Every encounter highlighted the same troubling fact: Earth's creatures were not easily categorized or controlled. They were unpredictable, relentless, and far more dangerous than their appearances suggested. But the most bewildering observation came when the aliens observed humans interacting with these creatures. From a concealed position, they watched as a human farmer worked alongside what appeared to be a large canine. The dog, far from hostile, obeyed the human's commands with precision. Together, they herded livestock in a coordinated display that left the aliens stunned. The concept of such a partnership defied their understanding. On their worlds, creatures were either tools or threats. Here, they were allies. Later, they observed a group of humans using falcons to hunt. The birds, with their razor-sharp talons and incredible speed, were lethal in their efficiency, but they responded to their handlers with a loyalty that seemed almost unnatural. The aliens couldn't comprehend it. These creatures weren't just being used. They were willingly cooperating. As the mission continued, the aliens' reports grew increasingly erratic. The resilience of Earth's creatures, coupled with humanity's ability to forge bonds with them, was unlike anything they had encountered in the galaxy. What began as a simple expedition to study biological assets had become a humbling experience. By the time the team departed, they carried no specimens, only damaged equipment, and a profound respect for the planet's ecosystem. Their final report was clear: Earth's creatures are not mere fauna. They are living weapons, honed by an environment of endless challenges and guided by the ingenuity of their human counterparts. Engagement requires extreme caution. As their ship ascended, one alien turned back for a final look at the blue planet below, its mind racing with questions. How had such a small, unassuming world produced life forms of such incredible adaptability? And more importantly, how had humans, fragile and unremarkable on their own, learn to wield these creatures with such mastery? The answers would have to wait, but one thing was certain: Earth was far more than it seemed. Humans were unlike any species the archivist had ever studied. The data was clear. On Earth, they were not the fastest, strongest, or most inherently dangerous creatures. Yet, they dominated their planet in ways that defied galactic norms. This dominance wasn't achieved through brute force, but through a staggering ability to adapt, strategize, and innovate. The archivist delved into Earth's history and found countless examples of humans thriving in extreme environments. In deserts, they devised shelters and irrigation to conquer the harsh heat. In frozen tundras, they hunted massive predators, fashioned clothing from fur, and created tools to carve out life from ice. Each challenge seemed to push them further, honing their abilities and teaching them to see opportunity where others saw only obstacles. What truly set humans apart, however, was their relationship with the creatures that shared their world. The data revealed a fascinating pattern. Humans didn't merely coexist with dangerous animals, they turned them into allies. Wolves, once competitors for prey, became trusted partners. Horses, massive and untamed, were transformed into essential tools for transportation and warfare. Even the ferocity of hawks and falcons was redirected, their hunting instincts refined under human guidance. The more the archivist studied, the more it became evident that humans didn't dominate Earth alone. They had created a network of symbiotic relationships with other species, using the unique traits of each to build a system of survival that was unparalleled. This ingenuity extended to warfare, where humans employed animals not just as tools but as strategic extensions of themselves. The historical record provided striking examples. During ancient wars, elephants, beasts of immense size and strength, were outfitted with armor and used to trample enemy formations. Their presence on a battlefield caused fear to ripple through opposing ranks. In more recent history, pigeons carried vital messages across war-torn territories, their natural homing instincts turned into a critical advantage. Even tiny rats were deployed, trained to detect explosives where technology fell short. But humans didn't rely solely on the physical attributes of these creatures. They study behavior, understanding the nuances of each species. Dogs, for example, became not just guards but trackers and rescuers. Their sense of smell turned into a tool for finding everything from lost hikers to hidden threats. Dolphins, with their intelligence and agility, were trained to locate underwater mines. Humans weren't just adapting animals, they were enhancing their capabilities, blending biology and ingenuity in ways that alien civilizations couldn't replicate. The archivist was particularly struck by humanity's approach to danger. Most species avoided predators, seeking safety through retreat or defense. Humans, on the other hand, sought to understand and even master them. Sharks, lions, and snakes, creatures that evoked fear across the galaxy, were subjects of fascination for humans. They studied these predators, respecting their power but refusing to be dominated by it. The data revealed countless stories of humans venturing into the habitats of these creatures, not out of recklessness, but curiosity. They documented behaviors, learned patterns, and even created technologies to emulate their strengths. Scuba gear to explore the depths of the ocean like a fish, wingsuits to mimic the flight of birds, humans continuously pushed the boundaries of their own limitations. As the archivist pieced together this intricate tapestry, one conclusion became clear. Humans were not the apex predator because of their physicality. They were the apex predator because they were collaborators, innovators, and survivors. Their strength lay in their ability to adapt to any challenge, to find solutions in the face of overwhelming odds. But there was another layer to this story, one that the archivist found particularly intriguing. Humanity's relationship with animals wasn't rooted in control or subjugation. It was built on trust and mutual benefit. Dogs protected humans because they were cared for. Horses carried warriors into battle because they were nurtured. Even the most dangerous animals, when treated with respect, responded in ways that defied logic. This bond, this partnership, was something no other species in the galaxy had achieved. And it wasn't limited to animals. Humans treated their environment, their technology, and even their challenges as potential allies. They didn't see obstacles, they saw opportunities. By the end of its analysis, the archivist felt a profound respect for humanity. They weren't just survivors, they were masters of adaptation, capable of turning the chaotic forces of nature into tools of progress. In them, the archivist saw the potential for something truly unique, a species that didn't conquer its world but collaborated with it, turning every challenge into a stepping stone toward greatness. The Galactic Council's first formal encounter with humanity came not through diplomacy, but through necessity. A neighboring star system had been overrun by a highly adaptable alien species known as the Crawl. The Crawl were a hive-minded, parasitic race that consumed ecosystems with ruthless efficiency. No civilization had successfully resisted their advance, and their spread threatened a vital trade route. The Council, desperate for a solution, turned to humanity, not as an ally, but as a last resort. The initial skepticism was palpable. Humans, though resourceful, were seen as primitive compared to the galactic superpowers. However, the Council had reviewed fragments of data from Earth and noted humanity's unique approach to survival. If there was any species capable of confronting the Crawl's relentless adaptability, it was them. Humanity agreed to assist, but with one condition: they would handle the situation in their own way, with no interference. The Council's representatives watched in astonishment as humans prepared for the conflict. Their strategy was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. Rather than relying on advanced weaponry or overwhelming firepower, humans focused on understanding their enemy. They studied the Crawl's biology, behavior, and weaknesses with an intensity that bordered on obsession. Their plan began with the deployment of animals, a tactic the Council initially dismissed as absurd. Dogs trained for tracking were sent to identify Crawl nests hidden underground. Falcons and drones were used to scout areas where technology alone had failed. Even rats were deployed, carrying miniature sensors into the tightest of spaces to gather critical intelligence. The precision and coordination between humans and their animal partners were unlike anything the Council had witnessed. Once the data was collected, humanity's ingenuity truly shone. Instead of engaging the Crawl directly, they disrupted their food supply, using Earth-engineered microbes to neutralize the nutrients the Crawl relied upon. This tactic, though simple, was devastatingly effective. The hive began to weaken, its rapid expansion grinding to a halt. But the Crawl were not so easily defeated. They adapted as they always did, and began targeting human operations directly. This was where humanity's unpredictability came into play. They anticipated the Crawl's response and had prepared a second line of defense, guerrilla tactics that combined human resilience with animal agility. The Crawl encountered packs of dogs working in tandem with human soldiers, their keen senses and speed outmaneuvering the hive's drones. Falcons delivered precision strikes, disrupting communication lines. Dolphins were used in aquatic zones, where the Crawl had established underwater colonies. Each creature was an extension of human strategy, their natural abilities amplified by training and trust. As the conflict wore on, the Council observed something extraordinary. Humans were not merely fighting to survive, they were fighting to outthink their opponent. Every encounter, every setback, was analyzed and adapted into a new tactic. The Crawl, for all their adaptability, could not match the sheer creativity and determination of humanity. When the final blow came, it was as unorthodox as the rest of the campaign. Using a combination of biological agents and engineered pheromones, humans disrupted the Crawl's hive mind. The once coordinated invaders turned on each other in chaos, their unity shattered. Within weeks, the threat was neutralized and the star system was safe. The Council, initially skeptical of humanity's methods, now faced a profound realization. Humans had not only defeated an enemy that had bested more advanced civilizations, they had done so by turning the chaos of the natural world into their greatest weapon. Their ability to merge intelligence, adaptability, and biological ingenuity was unparalleled. In the aftermath, humanity did not seek glory or reward. They simply returned to Earth, their task completed. But the Council was left with a new understanding of what humanity represented. They were not merely another sentient species in the galaxy. They were a force of nature, a living embodiment of adaptability and innovation. For the first time in its long existence, the Galactic Council amended its archives. Earth was no longer listed as a Category 3 planet. Humanity was no longer seen as a species of interest, but as a species to be respected and, if necessary, feared. The lesson was clear. In the vastness of the galaxy, it was not technology or strength that ensured survival, but the ability to adapt, innovate, and thrive against all odds. And in that regard, humanity stood unmatched.